You aren't going to find anybody who's going to be successful without making a sacrifice and without perseverance. Lou Holt. My friends, thanks so much for being with us. I love being with you every day. I love following these markets. I love tracking stocks and ETFs. I love trading. I love investing. I love the market. It is exciting. You should love it too. 10 to 15 minutes a day. That is all we ask for greatness. How long will it take? As long as it takes. But it's not 3 hours on a Sunday, and it's not an hour a day either. You will burn yourself out very quickly. You have to pace yourself, and you have to be committed for the long term. Now, let's jump into these charts. Stocks, as I said, would probably happen yesterday, bounced up some today. Bonds and gold down a little bit, not too much. Bonds down the most. And Bitcoin, according to the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index, which we're having more and more trouble with, it does show that things are up for Bitcoin, finishing the day at around almost $50,000. And when I say having trouble, we've got to find a better chart to track, and I'm going to work with the folks at Warden Brothers at TC2000 to see if we can't do that. They've been very helpful to me in the past. You can also you can track things like the Grayscale Ethereum Trust. There is also the Grayscale Bitcoin Fund, and then the Bitcoin Fund and the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So other things to look at. We'll talk more about that in the coming days. Let's first jump into the S&P. Still, we have a red down candle for the week, reaching a lower low. Price percent oscillator heading down, derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum. Look at the 2-day chart. Now remember that prior 2-day candle had ended on Friday, and this is now complete at the close of the market on Tuesday. It's a 2-day candle. It reached a lower low, price percent oscillator heading down, derivative oscillator actually losing a little bit of momentum, most likely from the movement throughout the course of the day on Tuesday. And as we go to the intraday, that is the half-day candle, that's what we see. It was up in the morning and reached a little bit higher during the afternoon, crossed over heading up in the afternoon. So to give ourselves a quick visual clue, we will move our half-day trend line over so that we can actually see that. Let's see. I'm using more of a remote, I'm using a, I may have to do this later for you. I'm using a satellite-based internet connection, and of course it has to send a signal to the satellite and then back down. Not the best. There we go. Well, it still works. Still works. I love TC2000. So that's where we are on the S&P. Keep your eye if you're in that down trade, which has done very well for you so far. Remember, everything ends. That's what you got to practice too, is getting out. When do you take your profits and leave? We've got some great trainings on that. Those of you who subscribe, you get great trainings every day. The training today is your aha moment. That's another really, really good training. How do you get those trainings every day? Go to chartingwealth.com, sign up for free. They'll be emailed to you along with the video and all sorts of other great stuff each and every day. Do that. And I look forward to having all of our Patreon members that can join us tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. The instructions are in your email. I hope you can join us with your questions. And of course, if you can send those to us beforehand, that would be great. And the stocks and ETFs will be backtracking for you. 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, about the time that usually works for everybody. If you can't join us, send your questions anyway. I try to answer those, and we'll send you an email of the video, the live video that we record for everyone. Okay, if you're not a Patreon member, you're missing out. There may be a couple of $30 slots a month left. Not sure. Those had run out for quite a while. We added a few more. Check it out. If you just signed up, I'll be getting all your information to you so you can participate with us. Now, let's jump into the Qs. What do we see going on there? Qs up for the day, 1.35%. Still got a big red down candle, price percent oscillator, derivative oscillator. Overall mood very strongly down. Same on the 2-day. Lower lows, everything jamming down. We get to the half day, and what do we see there? That's where we see a pull up in the morning, further up in the afternoon. Not enough to cross over, so we're not going to change our trend line just yet, but we will keep an eye on that. And again, hope you put in your profit and loss bands. Maybe you bifurcated or trifurcated your profit levels. When they hit certain levels, you're cashing out on your practice trades, whether it's puts or you're in an inverse fund such as PSQ for the NASDAQ 100 or SH for the S&P 500. You might be practicing those. We've talked about that a lot. Again, it pays to join us each and every day, just 10 to 15 minutes, so you know these things. We see that TLT is down for the day, almost 1%. And as we look at the weekly, of course, that's exactly what we wanted. We had that weekly vertical crossover, right? At the end of last week, how many of you shorted TLT, or did you get into TBF? That is the inverse fund for TLT. We see the price percent oscillator moving down, derivative oscillator heading down. Hope a number of you jumped into that practice trade. What do we see going on with the 2-day chart? Again, 2-day is about where things were back on that last week on the Tuesday, Wednesday candle. We see the price percent oscillator still moving down, derivative oscillator moving down. Let's zoom in a little to the intraday action. We saw where things had again started moving up and then rotated back over, heading down right on that 2-day trend line. That is very, very nice to see. Good to see that happening on bonds. Very happy to see that. That again, it's beautiful when you see those trend lines act like a wall to stop that upward movement. They're not actually doing that. The upward movement's just stopping. But it's helpful when you see those trend lines give us a good feel for what's going on. Okay, we're going to move away from bonds, go to gold. Gold down a little bit. I think it was up about 0.5% yesterday, down about 0.5% today. Still negative, flattening a little bit, not going down as hard as it was a few weeks ago. Derivative oscillator losing a little bit of momentum on that weekly. We go to the 2-day. 2-day is still negative, but the price percent oscillator is heading up. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. Second green open box candle sitting right there below the weekly trend line. That's good to see. And what about the half day? Well, the half day is still positive. It's lost a little bit of that speed heading up on the price percent oscillator. Derivative oscillator positive, losing momentum down in the morning. Trying to recover a little bit in the afternoon. Like we said, still down about 0.5% for the day. That's where we are on our big four. And of course, because you asked for it, we found a Bitcoin chart that we have been helping you just follow the movement over the last many months. What do we see going on with Bitcoin now? Well, it looked like at the end of last week we were getting close to, in fact, at one point it was trying to cross over, going down after 3 weeks of down movement on Bitcoin. And then this week, pulling away from the red signal line, derivative oscillator still oscillating down, but still green. Nice green up candle that's forming. And what are we waiting for? We're waiting for that 2-day to cross over and give us some assurance of continued up movement. Up for the day, 4.75%. Derivative oscillator still negative. Price percent oscillator still negative. What do we see on the half day? That half day crossed over going up back on Thursday it crossed over. And of course, it has been going up since then. And we'll continue to track Bitcoin for you. And if you're interested in Bitcoin, we urge you to practice, trade it, to follow the charts, see how well and accurately they work. It pays to practice trade, my friends, as much as you can. At the end of today's video, we're going to have all 3 of those trainings on how to use our trade, our daily, and our weekly market worksheets. Those are some of the keys to really speeding up your training and understanding. If you'll fill those out each and every day, fill out the daily once a week after the markets close on Friday, the weekly And then whenever you do a practice trade, the trade worksheets, you'll get so much out of it. Those who listen, they get it. Those who don't, you just keep struggling. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.